preached in that church after I've been here for 5.5, 6 years. Young lad called Cato got me in that. I'm preaching to their kids, to the rich people's kids, to the politicians' kids, from the posh kids' school at Westminster. And there's Gavin, the chaplain, and he's saying to me, there I am stood at the main altar with him. He says, some people call you a nutter, Brian. What do you say to that? I says, nutter? You are recording. You are a silly girl. Are you not recording? Oh, she always misses it. Okay. Yes, nutter. Some people call you nutter, Brian. What do you say to that? I said, nutter? That's the polite version. You want to hear what they call us? And what for? I was sent here on the 2nd of June 2001 because somebody upstairs loves and cares. Mr. and Mrs. God, Mum and Dad, that's what I call them. And do you know how much they love you, son, daughter? Do you know how much you're loved? Do you know how precious you are? Aren't they very strange words to have at a morning assembly in Westminster Abbey to the children, to tell them that how much God Almighty loves these children? And what did the nutter say to you? They would have asked their children at the long bank holiday weekend. He said, I'm as precious as his own son, Dad. I'm as precious as his own daughter. That's what he told me. That's what he told us. Because they were very angry. Those over there were very angry to find out that Brian Hoare, effing Brian Hoare, had been preaching to their kids in Westminster Abbey. Because it's dangerous, isn't it, when the people get to hear and know the truth. And what have I said? Have I said anything remarkable? It's ABC, isn't it? ABC Christianity. Love your neighbour as yourself. Love your neighbour's child as your own. No matter the colour of their skin, the country they live in, their race or religion. Love your neighbour as yourself. Love your neighbour's child as your own. That's Christianity, Mr. Bush, Mr. Blair, Mr. Bloody Brown. Humanity, sanity, that's the path to peace, isn't it? It's not rocket science, is it? Treat my neighbour's kid just like I want my own to be treated. Cherished, loved, protected. Growing up happy, able to play, able to have an education. And some of our soldiers, there they are in the army because they don't have the same opportunities as the rich people's kids, do they? And they've joined up because that original mad cow, Margaret Thatcher, had a big part to play in destroying the industry, didn't she? And Blair has carried on the same old story, hasn't he? Same old, same old. Unemployment's a good thing, isn't it? For the army, when you want to... But no, it's not, because the truth is getting out. The recruitment's gone down. We had a walk to Oxford the other day. 4th to the 7th of February, we had a peace walk to Oxford. And I was speaking at Oxford Union. This House would, under no circumstances, fight for Queen and country. And I was speaking for that motion. And General Dan at Donut, our top general, was supposed to be speaking against it. And he ran away. And the Air Vice Marshal, he was supposed to be speaking against it. And he ran away.
On the opposite podium.
And Colonel Bob Andrews, the action man from Basra, he was supposed to be speaking against me. And he ran away.
So you were all alone, you were by yourself.
They couldn't find one person in the army, in the forces, who would stand up for this Queen and country bollocks. Not one. Do you know who they had speaking for it? Against it? Against it. For Queen and country, an American. And they're calling him doctor on the programme, and I'm saying, oh, what you're not a medical doctor, are you? No, I'm not really a doctor, he says. That's a mistake. I said, what are you then? She said, I'm a lecturer, he says. Oh, what do you lecture in? Argument, he says. He's a professional arguer. And he thinks he's an entertainer, you know. He thinks he is, and he stands up all full of the joys of spring. And he says, Queen and country, he says. I don't actually agree with Queen and country. We got rid of all that. And he's the one speaking in for it. Again, for Queen and country. I'm stood up and I'm saying, this House would under no circumstances fight for Queen and country. Which Queen? Which country? Queen George W. Bush? Queen Tony Blair? Queen Gordon Brown? Or perchance this Queen? And I've got a copy of Her Majesty Elizabeth Regina, and I'm saying, holding it up, a postcard all cut up around her. This Queen, Elizabeth Regina. I understand she had a German name once. Yes, and there was a queen called Victoria. 60 wars in 60 years. Queen and country. Looting the nations, eh? It's all about money. War's all about money. It's all about the arms industry, the biggest money-making racket in the world. The drugs industry is number 2. That's where you get Afghanistan. All the poppy, all the opium, all coming from Afghanistan. It's gone up now from 150 tons to 6,000 tons.
And the price has gone down on the street.
Well, I don't know about gone down. I don't know, but they're making a fortune out of it, aren't they? And they're using it as to control people's minds as well, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a lot more young people using heroin today than there was 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, and our soldiers are using that shit. And they use that shit in Vietnam. You can't ask people to do those diabolical things if they're in possession of their senses. Sober up. 24-hour drinking, drugs. Don't forget sex. Sex always comes into it. And raping people is always standard for war. It's always standard practice. We rape in the world. The church. Anyway, I did speak in Westminster Abbey thanks to a lovely boy. I won those kids' hearts. I spoke to those kids, and it's simple, isn't it? Love your neighbour's kid like you do your own. Now, what are we going to do? My neighbour, my brother, my sister are suffering and being tortured and murdered and robbed of everything they have. And I'm responsible, that's the bottom line. Not a hero, responsible for genocide, for infanticide, genocide, torture, looting of nations. That's what each one of us are personally responsible for. While our country is doing that to other people, and most of the time walking by, as if nothing's happening. When are we going to wake up and stop it? 2 million, 30,000. Come on, let's get real. When are we going to stop it? I think I've finished. It's up to you now. It's up to me, it's up to all of us. And the bottom line is none of us have done enough, have we? Oh, I do my bit, I've been told. None of us have done enough, because it hasn't stopped, has it? It's time we started. Hob salam wa adil lajamir shalom. Love, peace, justice for all. Versus infanticide, genocide, torture, looting of nations. These are our 2 choices. This is the good, this is the evil. Which are we going to be? Do we want to look ourselves in the mirror? Do we want to look our babes and our loved ones in the face, in the eyes? Do all you can. Come on. Now. Time's running out for 2 million people. How many more millions have to die before we stop it? Thank you. I want a copy.
Well,
oh, Parliament, sorry. Parliament-square.org.uk. Got it?
Parliament-square.org.uk.
Yeah.
We'll get you a copy when it's edited. It's a good ideas across, Brian. Thank you.